Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make use the nested loops and how to make beautiful designs with it. So let's start. To start with, I have to increase the size of my canvas, which is now 700. Now it's big enough, and I will change the background color to black. So after doing that, let's check it's all black. Now to start with, first we will be making our first rectangle. So let's make a rect, and let's say the rectangle is in the middle. So let's say it's 200. No, the half of the size of the width half and height half, so that it appears in the middle. And the size, let's say, is 50 and 50. And let's see, there's a rectangle in the middle, and then we don't need color, we just need a stroke. And so we will say that no fill, and then we need a stroke, and a stroke, let's say, is of white color at first. So let's give 255. I'm using the grayscale to do that. Now to let's increase the stroke weight of it also, so it borders appears to be thick enough. So the stroke, let's say, is 3. Yeah, it's bright enough. Now you can see properly. Now to start with, the first thing I need to do is I need to make a for loop. The first for loop I'm going to make is using for, and then we will enclose it all the code which we have written up till now for the rect to be inside that. Now we will start by writing the code. Let's say let I is equals to 0, or and say I is less than the mouse x. Instead of width, we are saying less than the mouse x, and I plus is equals to 50. And let's say it also starts from 0, because 0 is all the way in, so 50 will be a good position to start with. So now I will replace this width half with this I, and let's see that whether it's appearing the way we want it. So let's see, you can see the rectangles are appearing as I move my mouse across. Now yet there is nothing interesting in it, but the only thing which is interesting, as you move your mouse, the rectangles are forming. Now the second thing I need you to do is let's make another for loop. So all this code which we have written here will be inside the two for loops we are making right now. So I will be shift that inside, and now I will be writing for another for loop just like the previous one, and now I'm going to put it inside the second one as well. So this is the first for loop, and this will be the second for loop, and this for loop will have the same values as the one before. So I'm going to keep it same, just the variable name will be changed. So let j is equals to 50 and j is less than, and in this case we have making the in the x-axis the boxes. I want in the y-axis also the boxes, so I will be saying that mouse y, when it moves, then start making the boxes. So we'll do that. Plus is equals to 50. 50 should be the separation they have. Now I will put this j in place of the height half. So now after doing that, when I do like this, and I'm starting. So now you can see I have a whole checkered box appearing on my screen as I move my mouse across and down. So pretty interesting to do that. Okay, after doing that, the next thing I need to do is, let's change this boring color. So let's say this is also have mouse X in it, and as the mouse X or and Y changes, it will also change. And say that it's with a minus I, and then there is a I here. I'm randomly putting these things in to make some color. So let's see what color we will get. So as I move across, it's giving me all the different colors, and as I move, it's giving me different sorts of colors, which is quite nice, which we wanted. Now this is how you make the for loop. If I go in the edit and tidy my code, it will be more clear to you. So I made the first for loop. Inside that for loop, I made another for loop, and the brackets which are enclosing, they also go just like that at the end, and the whole code comes between these two for loops. Okay, now to make it more dynamic, to make it more nicer, so let's say that we want our the size of the rects to be controlled by some dist function which we have done before. So let's say that we have a dist function, and for the dist function what we need a variable first. So let's say it's a d for distance, and then we are going to say that dist, and we will be saying that dist is the mouse X position and the mouse Y position and half of the width and half of the height. So we will do that, and now after doing that I will make another variable, because and now I will say that this dist variable d is, I'm going to divide it by, for example, by 5, and let's see what will happen. Now I will use this r value here and r value here instead of 50-50, which is the width and the height of the rects. So now when I move my mouse across, as you can see there is some doubling of the squares, you can see here, according to the distance. As I increase the distance, it becomes just like that. Decrease the distance, they have some distance in between, as you can see. So all depends upon the distance. So it becomes bigger and smaller as I'm moving close to 0 and less than 0 in the mouse X, mouse Y positions. So now what else we can do with it? So let's say that this distance 1, say let's add I and j also to it. So let's say we have I plus width and j plus width. Let's see what will this be doing to r. Now you see it's kind of making the things move, and can you see that there is some boxes which are now appearing in the middle, like this one white, which are different, much smaller than the ones on the side. So this is quite a cool effect which you can see. It's like a spotlight, in the middle, you can make that move across. Okay, we have something. We can try just the D as well to see what will happen. If I try D, now you can see that D is making another kind of pattern, which is not as pretty as if we divide it by 20 or something and then do it. But it is also a pattern. So now we have one kind of squares, rectangles appearing. Now if I want, I can have two rectangles here instead of one. So let's make another rectangle. In fact, copy this one and make another rectangle. They both have the same values, and let's see what will happen. Nothing much change because they are not shown because they are forming over each other. So if I say it's minus 50, it will be a little bit smaller than the previous ones. So let's see. Now you see the rectangles which are forming is on the top left hand corner, which is forming. So let's make this, go to the setup and say it's controlled by the rect mode center. So it will be controlled by the center rather than its original point of left top hand corner. Let's do that and see what will happen. Now the smaller squares are appearing in the middle rather than on the sides. Now you can see there are different patterns of squares. You can see now some are small, some are big, and they are in the middle. And as I move, there is a circle kind, blackish circle kind of a thing which is appearing in the middle. If you see, and as I move across, it also moves the side to side and up and down like a spotlight. It's pretty cool. Okay, now to make it more nicer, so there is always something to make it more and more nicer and better. So let's say that we want to add some rotation in it. For rotation, the first thing I need to do is I need to make the translate function. So in the 2D, without translate, the rotate function doesn't work. So for that, I just need the I and the j values. I'm copying from here and I'm going to put it here. And now in place of the I and j, I will say the rectangles translate is actually controlling the x and the y positions instead of the rectangles hardcode values. So now when I do that, you can see the rectangles start translating to different points as I move my mouse across, which is another pretty thing to do. So you get another kind of a pattern. So now what I wanted to do is I want to use the rotate function, and but for the rotate function I need to make first the angle variable, which should be an global variable. So I will write angle which I'm going to initiate it with 0 at first, and then I'm going to say inside the nested loop I'm going to say that this angle is plus is equals to, very slowly I want my rectangles to move, so this much speed. And now the rotate function will come and I will give the angle variable to it. Let's save the project and let's see what will happen. Oh, it's appearing, but all the rectangles, they are just very haphazard way moving across. It's another kind of a thing, but this is not what I'm looking for. I want my rectangles to be moving inside each other in different directions. So for that, I don't want it to be moving like this. I want it to be moving in a particular fashion. To do that, I need push and pop. So I'm going to use the push and pop around the first one first, and then I'm going to use the same thing around the second one as well. But with that, when I copy the push and pop, I'm also going to copy the translate function for the second one as well. So they have a separate translate and rotate, although they have the same values, but that doesn't affect, because inside the push and pop, the whatever code you have written, it will consolidate it. It will not let it affect from the other code. So let's see what will happen now when I do this. Now you can see as I move, the rectangles are moving, and both the rectangles are moving, and they are in a pattern form, not haphazardly going here and there. But still, if you want your rectangle which is inside to move in the other direction, what I will suggest that I will just put a minus sign with one of them. So the one which is inside is the one with the minus 50. So I will put a minus angle here, and that will make it rotate in the opposite direction. So when I do this, now you will see they both are going to rotate in the opposite direction. Now as you can see, they both are rotating in the opposite directions. The best part about the rectangles is that you can make them rotate, and you can see their rotation. If you do the same with the ellipse, you cannot see the rotation. They will seems to be the same in both ways. So the best part about this is whenever you are doing this, you can definitely make it rotate like this. And now you can see that as I move to the side, it just finishes off, which I don't want. I want it to be continuous, and I want this middle circle to be appearing. And when I move my mouse across, it should move with it like a spotlight in the middle, so it can be shown. If you want, you can also remove this and see what beautiful pattern you can get without it as well. So let's first do that static thing, that it doesn't finish off when you move towards the zero position. So let's say that this is uh, around 700, just like the width and the height of the canvas. So instead of mouse x mouse y, I'm changing the in the for loop, the I is less than 700 and j is less than 700. Let's see what will happen. Now I will have the squares all over the place, but as I move down, I will have separately and properly. As I move to the side, it moves like a spotlight, and it doesn't finishes off, if you see, but it just goes away as well. So this is one pattern you can do, or you can stick to the mouse X and mouse Y. I think that was much nicer looking than this. So let's revert it back to mouse Y. And this time I just wanted to remove the minus 50. So one square is not smaller than the other. And this time I want it to be of the same size. Now when I do it. They are of the same size, but as you can see, although they are of the same side, but since they are rotating in the opposite directions, so they are making much more nicer patterns. So you can see that how many different patterns you can create with the same kind of code over and over again, and you can make it all work. So let's try this out and see how you find it, and do try it out and enjoy making use of the nested loop to make beautiful patterns. Try also the ellipse if you can, and see that what ellipse can do. For the ellipse, I will suggest that at least if you are doing that ellipse thing, so for the ellipse to see the difference, how it's looking nicer or not, so do increase the size of one of them in width or in the height, so like this, and see what kind of a pattern you will get. Then you can see the rotation in them also. Maybe, as you can see, as I move my rings across, I can make beautiful patterns with circles, or circles, basically ellipses as well. So try all these things out and see what you can make, and if you come up with nicer ideas, do share with me. And thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.